He thought his plan was foolproof, but the negotiator tells him the police have already obtained photos of the robbers and their family information. The professor starts to panic, but just as he's scrambling for a response, Raquel hangs up on him. Turns out, after Rio caught Monica using her phone, he didn't tell anyone else about it, so the professor has no idea how the video ended up in police hands. The professor immediately contacts Berlin inside the Mint. Since they'd rerouted the Mint's surveillance to the professor's location, there's no way the police could have seen anything through the cameras. They conclude that another hostage must be hiding a phone. Berlin quickly begins interrogating all the hostages. When no one comes forward, he takes a harder approach, ordering his crew to strip the hostages. Rio rushes forward to stop him. Since Rio and Tokyo's relationship violates the professor's rules, Rio doesn't mention Tokyo when explaining what happened. He just says his own carelessness let Monica grab the phone. But Berlin knows Rio would never make such a rookie mistake unless something distracted him. He'd already figured out what was going on between Rio and Tokyo. Now that Rio's romantic entanglement has caused such a serious breach, as the team's manager, Berlin has to hand out some punishment. Meanwhile, the police have identified Rio's real identity, but as law enforcement, they're facing even bigger pressure. The Mint takeover has hit every major news outlet's front page, and with zero progress so far, the heat is on. Raquel tells her team she needs to step out for some food to clear her head. The professor, monitoring police frequencies, decides it's time to make his move. He shows up at the same restaurant where Raquel's eating. Since he'd lent her his phone before, they're sort of acquainted. The professor plays the curious bystander and asks her about the Mint situation. Naturally, being a cop, Raquel doesn't reveal anything. But just as she's about to leave, one of her officers calls. The professor overhears their entire conversation and sneaks a peek at her phone screen. Raquel suddenly pins him down, convinced he's a journalist. But the professor had planned for this scenario. For 3 months, he'd been eating at this restaurant every single day. The owner now considers him a regular. Seeing the professor in trouble, the owner vouches for him. After hearing this, Raquel second-guesses herself. The stress of her failed marriage, the mind games with the hostage takers, plus public scrutiny and media backlash, she figures she must be getting paranoid. She doesn't even apologize to the professor before hastily gathering her things and rushing out. What she doesn't realize is that this is exactly the trap the professor set for her, and her current mental state is about to become his way in. On the other side, an injured Rio emerges, and Tokyo spots him. She still doesn't know Rio's face has been exposed. She just assumes he got beaten because of their relationship. In Tokyo's mind, there's nothing wrong with her and Rio being together. It's the professor's rules that are too cold and heartless. Never one to be bound by rules, Tokyo furiously smashes the wall-mounted camera. Watching the nearly unhinged Tokyo on the monitors, the professor says nothing. Only after Berlin comes in and gets the situation under control does the professor drop a bomb that shatters Tokyo. Because of their romance, the escape plan he'd designed for them can no longer work. Only now does Tokyo understand why the professor forbade relationships between them, but it's already too late.